Masturbation is one of the most practical ways to heal your sex life, but what if I told you that you might be doing it the wrong way? There are 3 common mistakes that seem harmless, but over time can lead to loss of sensation, reduced desire, and even erectile dysfunction. But now that you're here with me today, I'll help you recognize those 3 pitfalls and show you gentle, easy ways to adjust, so your body stays healthy and you stay joyful and full of life. Let's be clear from the start, masturbation is a normal, healthy, and beneficial activity. It not only helps relieve stress and improve sleep, but also supports prostate health and keeps your sex life vibrant, especially as you age. But here's the thing, you have to treat your little guy with care. Because if you're doing it wrong, you could be silently sabotaging your own body. Why is that? Think of your brain as a superpowered learning machine. Every repeated behavior becomes a habit. That's what we call neuroplasticity. Masturbation, when done correctly, is like a regular workout. It keeps your body healthy and your mind at ease. But if you do it wrong, it's just like working out with bad form. The more you do it, the more you get hurt, and it builds unhealthy reflexes. And in this video, I'm going to point out the 3 biggest mistakes many men make. Share simple, gentle solutions you can easily practice at home. Stick around until the end, because this could be the first step in reconnecting with your body in a healthier and more fulfilling way. First, let's talk about the most common mistake nearly every man has made, and assumed it was totally normal: being too rushed. Turning a precious moment into a race. Let's be honest, how many times have you just wanted to get it over with, then move on with your day like nothing happened? If that sounds like you, you're not alone. But I'll be just as honest in saying this, it's one of the biggest mistakes, quietly robbing you of control and masculine strength, little by little. Day after day, rushed masturbation is like turning a peaceful walk in the park into a 100-meter sprint. Everything is tense, rushed, and focused only on crossing the finish line as fast as possible. And what that does, according to how the brain works, is train your body to ejaculate quickly. Every time, your body doesn't know if you're taking care of yourself or getting ready for real intimacy. It only learns one thing: okay, the goal is to finish as fast as possible. And then, when you're with your partner or spouse, your brain unconsciously activates that exact same pattern. You get aroused very quickly, and then lose control just as fast. That's how the habit of rushing leads to premature ejaculation, and from there, the anxiety about performance begins. For a man over 60, that anxiety isn't just about embarrassment. It hits deeper. It's a quiet sadness, the feeling that you're no longer yourself. And that anxiety becomes a silent killer of erections. You stop feeling connected to your own body. The good news is, you can take back control. Slow down. Treat this like a marathon, not a sprint. Gentle, intentional, and unhurried. Create a quiet, private space. Don't focus on finishing. Focus on exploring sensation, feeling your own waves of arousal. When you're getting close to the point of no return, pause for a moment. Breathe. Let the intensity settle. Then slowly begin again. Repeat this process, and you're training your brain and body to control arousal. Instead of letting reflexes control you, you're no longer someone swept away by impulse. You're the one in charge. And that is truly masculine. Mistake 2. Relying on porn, junk food for your sexual brain. Picture this. You're a seasoned man. Someone who once knew the depth of passion, the kind that lived in a glance, in the brush of a hand. But over the years, as life became lonelier, more predictable, that simple click on a seductive video turned into a daily habit. And that's the second big mistake: masturbation tied to pornography. I know this isn't easy to hear, but let's be honest, porn is the junk food of your sexual brain. It's ultra-stimulating, easy to access, and gives you instant gratification, but it offers no long-term nutritional value. Just like eating fried chicken and drinking soda instead of a proper meal, the more you consume it, the more hooked you get on the quick fix, but the more you lose touch with your real feelings. Little by little, you see, the male brain doesn't distinguish between real and on screen. It just knows that every time it gets aroused, There's a flood of dopamine, the hormone of excitement and motivation. But just like an addict who needs a stronger hit, your brain starts to desensitize. You need more intense images, more extreme sounds, more bizarre scenarios just to feel something. And then what happens? You return to your partner, the person you once loved deeply. But suddenly, you're not aroused. You can't stay hard. Or worse, you can't feel anything at all. Because your brain has been conditioned to only respond to overstimulated, unrealistic content. There's a name for this: porn-induced erectile dysfunction, PIED. I know it sounds serious, and it is. It's a silent crisis affecting millions of men, especially those who've been alone for years, without the chance to build real, intimate connections. But here's the good news: you can undo this. You can start with what's called a digital detox. It sounds big, but really, it just means this: stop outsourcing your arousal to a screen, and return to the most powerful sexual organ you have, your imagination. Start imagining again, maybe an old memory, a look someone gave you, a time when a simple touch made your heart race. Focus on the physical sensations happening right now: your heartbeat, your skin, your breath, instead of those hyper-stimulated scenes on a screen. It will be hard at first, I won't lie. You're detoxing from a habit your brain has practiced thousands of times. But just like quitting sugar or cigarettes, if you stay with it for a few weeks, your brain will begin to rewire. And you'll start to feel again, slowly, more fully, and in a way that's truly real. If it feels too difficult at first, try some gentler stepping stones, erotic literature, or audio-based intimacy podcasts. These formats don't desensitize your visual system and still keep your imagination alive, which is a deeply valuable part of a seasoned man's soul. Just think of it like this: would you rather have a greasy bucket of fried chicken, or a warm, home-cooked dinner by candlelight, with soft music playing in the background? Choose differently in how you care for yourself, and you'll start to feel alive again. From the inside out. Mistake 3. Monotony, and the death grip phenomenon. This is a mistake many men never see coming, not because things are too fast or too focused on screens, but because of the dull repetition in the way we touch ourselves. Same hand, same grip, same speed, same pressure, and often, it's done face down, quietly, quickly, like a mindless habit. Over time, your body learns, this is the only way to climax. And that's where the problem begins. The nerves around your genitals, which are naturally sensitive, get conditioned. They become used to a kind of stimulation that's harder, tighter, more intense than anything a real person, a real partner, could ever provide. In other words, you're training your body to only respond to a 10 out of 10 intensity. So when you're with someone, even if the connection is deep and genuine, everything feels like a 7 or 8, and your brain says, not enough. The result? You start to lose sensitivity to gentler touch. You struggle to get hard, or can't stay hard long enough. And you start asking yourself, what's happening to me? Gentlemen, this phenomenon has a name: death grip. It already sounds rigid, harsh, and that's exactly how it affects you. But here's the good news. You can undo it. You need to become an explorer. Instead of repeating what's familiar, start creating new experiences in the way you take care of yourself. Try switching hands. If you always use your right, use your left. Use lubricant, not just to protect your skin, but to soften the grip, ease the friction, and introduce gentler sensations. Change your position, don't just lie face down. Try sitting, standing, or lying on your back. Let your touch be lighter, your movements slower. Instead of gripping, try stroking. Instead of rushing, try pausing and noticing. Treat every session like a small adventure, not a task to finish. What you're really doing is retraining your body, helping it become more flexible, more open to different kinds of touch, pressure, and rhythm. The result? When you're with a real person, the sensations feel familiar. Your body responds more easily, leading you to more natural, connected orgasms. You're no longer fighting yourself every time you're intimate with someone. You're no longer stuck between what your body demands and what your heart genuinely wants to feel. You're teaching your body how to love again, with gentleness, variety, and authenticity. And that is the real strength of a man who's lived, learned, and grown. And if there's one message this video hopes to leave with you, it's not a dry warning or a judgment, but a gentle reminder. Your body still holds so much to explore, to love, and to reconnect with. We've just talked about 3 common mistakes in private self-care: going too rough, not being mindful of hygiene, and falling into long-term repetition. And all of these share one consequence: they slowly push your body out of tune, out of balance with its natural needs and the emotional connections that matter. At this age, many of us have asked ourselves, does this part of life still matter? But the truth is, it's the ability to feel, to connect, and to feel at home in your own body that reminds you you're still alive, you're still capable of love, and you are still, fully, beautifully, human. And to make that happen, this video highlighted 3 golden keys. First is patience. Slow down, not just in how fast you touch, but in how you listen to your body. Let arousal build like a warm current, not a race. This is especially important as we age, when our nervous systems and hormones shift. Slowing down doesn't weaken pleasure, it deepens it, makes it more real. Second is imagination. Instead of relying on porn, let your mind tell the story. A memory of a former partner, the feeling of a hand in yours, a quiet sweet moment, sometimes that stirs emotions far more powerfully than any screen ever could. By inviting your brain back into the game, you're not just feeling through your body, you're feeling through your soul. And finally, variety. As mentioned earlier, the human body craves discovery, not being boxed into one way of doing things. Change your approach. Explore new positions, different levels of pressure, even moments of just light touch. All of this helps retrain your body's emotional response. Just like exercise, it's not about going hard, it's about doing it right, and doing it regularly. One more important tip, especially for those who still share intimacy with a partner: use your solo time to get comfortable with condoms. Many people, not just the younger ones, still feel awkward, disconnected, or anxious when using condoms. But often, it's simply because the body isn't used to it. Try different types: ultra thin, smooth, ribbed, scent-free. Let the condom become a familiar part of your private routine. That way, when you're with your partner, you won't feel surprised or turned off just because of that little layer of protection. And if you heard the phrase biological switch at the end of the video, that's just a way to suggest that some deeper changes inside the body may require awareness. And sometimes, support. But remember, most of the positive change starts with the simple act of self-love, with small actions like the ones we've just talked about. Masturbation, or any kind of self-care, is not wrong. It's not shameful. It's just a way to remind yourself, I'm still alive, I can still feel, and I still deserve joy, connection, and love. If anything needs to change, it's not the habit itself, but the way we approach it, with more awareness, more gentleness, and more love for ourselves. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. If you can, give yourself a small act of kindness, maybe a 10-minute walk under the morning sun, or a quiet moment to write down one thing you're grateful for about your body. Just that alone can begin a healing process. If today's video meant something to you, if it touched a part of you, don't hesitate to hit like, so we know this content is truly meaningful. And if there's anything you'd like to share, a question, a thought, or even just a quick hello, please leave a comment below. We'll continue making more heartfelt, gentle, and inspiring videos to walk alongside you on this journey of living well, living joyfully, and living fully every single day.